I am Anil Kumar. Welcome to my series on exponential functions. Here are 4 interesting questions from previous IB test papers. I'd like you to pause the video, copy them, answer, and then look into my suggestions. So we'll discuss these questions now. Question number 1 is to simplify 9 to the power of 4x plus 3y times 81 to the power of 2x minus 4y. Now to simplify such expressions, we have to write them with the same base. As you know, 81 is 9 squared. So that should help us to simplify. So the question now becomes 9 to the power of 4x plus 3y. We already have this. Let me copy the question as such first, and then we'll simplify, right? So this expression is equal to 9 to the power of 4x plus 3y. 81 can be written as 9 squared, right? So 9 squared to the power of 2x minus 4y. Now we can multiply this, and what we get is 9 to the power of 4x plus 3y times 9 to the power of 2 times 2x minus 4y, correct? So that means it is 9 to the power of 4x plus 3y times 9 to the power of, when you open the bracket, you get 4x minus 8y. Now we can add the exponents, right? So we get 9 to the power of 4x plus 3y plus 4x minus 8y. So that gives you the final result, which is 9 to the power of 8x. 3y minus 8y is minus 5y. So that is how you can do this particular question. Important is to make the same basis. Let's move forward and take the next question, which is to simplify. Let me write this again. 36 square root of x minus x to the power of 3 by 2 divided by square root of x minus 6. How are we going to do this? So now, to simplify this, what we could do is, in the numerator, we could factor out square root of x. So what we get here is square root of x, then we are left with 36 minus what? Now to look into this term, you could actually see that x to the power of 3 over 2 is like 1.5, and this is 0.5. So when you have factored, you are left with 1, correct? So it is 36 minus x. So there are different ways of looking into it. You can also, one way to look into x to the power of 3 by 2 is, of course, this is x cube and then, it is x cube and then square root. So that means it is x square root x, correct? So when we factored out square root x, we are left with x. That is kind of important to understand. The denominator is square root of x minus 6. Now, 36 minus x can be written as what? Look here. We could think like this. 36 is 6 square, right? And x is x square root square. So we have a difference of square in the numerator, right? This step has been included only for your understanding, right? It's not very important to write here. Anyway, this can be factored. So the idea here is to factor it. So once you factor, you get 6 minus square root x times 6 plus square root x. Now we have a common factor in the numerator and in denominator. Do you see that? Now this square root x minus 6 and 6 minus square root x can be cancelled with negative 1, right? So if you take negative 1 common, it becomes square root x minus 6. So now this can be factored. Does it make sense to you? And therefore, we can write this in a simplified form as square root of x times 6 plus x square root x with a negative sign. Do you see that? So this becomes the simplified form of the given expression. Correct? It could also be written in the expanded form as minus 6 square root x minus x. Either way, so both are kind of correct. So that is how we could actually simplify this. And remember here, we have a restriction. And the restriction is that square root x is not equal to 6. So that is kind of very important to write. So restriction which you should mention here should be square root x is not equal to 6, which really means that x is not equal to 36. Correct? So that becomes the restriction on the given expression. So our final answer will be as shown on the left side. With the restriction that x is not equal to 36, the given expression is minus 6 square root x minus x. I hope that makes sense, right? Okay. Let's take the next question, which is question number 3. Here, we need to simplify x squared y plus x to the power of 4y cubed whole to the power of 4 over x to the power of 5 y to the power of 7. Now, how are you going to do this one? Well, from x squared y, x from the numerator, we could actually factor out x squared y, right? So, if I do that, I get what? I get 1 plus x squared y squared, correct? Everything is to the power of 4 divided by x to the power of 5 y to the power of 7. Okay, that is fine. Now to move on, we'll use this power on and distribute it over. So we can write this as x to the power of 4 times 2 as 8, y to the power of 4, and within this bracket we get 1 plus x squared y squared to the power of 4 over x to the power of 5 y to the power of 7. Now we can take care of this part, which is we could write this as x to the power of 3 over y to the power of 3 with 1 plus x squared y squared to the power of 4. Now how do we move further from here? Well, in this case, we can use either binomial expansion, correct? We have two terms here to the power of 4, or we could use Pascal's triangle just to expand this. So if I'm using a Pascal's triangle, let me just remind you of what Pascal triangle was. So to expand such binomial expressions, remember this Pascal's triangle? So, just add them and write the next term. So we get this as the coefficients when you expand. So 1 plus 2, 3, 3 and 1. And this is to the power of 4. So basically, we'll go one more level here. So we get the coefficients which are 1, 4, 6, 4 and 1. So we get, when we have power of 4, 5 terms. And these are the coefficients of these terms. So we could write this as equal to x cubed, y cubed, and expand this with these coefficients. So first term is 1. 1 times 1 to the power of 4 is just 1, right? Then plus 4 times 1 to the power of 4. So I'm not writing 1, but all this to the power of 1, which is x squared plus y squared, right? Plus this coefficient 6 times 1 to the power of 2 and this to the power of 2. So that is to say x squared y squared whole square plus 4 this power to 3 x squared y squared cube plus x squared y squared to the power of 4, correct? So these are the 5 terms which you get. Now we could rewrite this as x cubed over y cubed, and here we will expand this and write the final expression, which is 1 plus 4x square y square plus 6 x to the power of 4 y to the power of 4 plus 4 x to the power of 3 times 2 6 y to the power of 6 plus 4 times 2 is 8. Does make sense to you? So that becomes your final simplified expression. Okay, so when it is power of 4, you cannot simply divide these two terms by these and rewrite. That will be a wrong answer, and that has been seen in many test papers, and therefore this question has been taken here. I hope it makes sense and it connects with what you have learned already, right? Now let's take up the last question in the set of this 4, and after this we'll actually take the complete test paper. Solve for x and verify your solution. 9 to the power of 1 over 4 times 1 over 3 to the power of x over 2 equals to cube root of 27 to the power of 4. So let's rewrite this question. It says 9 to the power of 1 over 4 times 1 over 3 to the power of x over 2 is equal to 27 to the power of 4 over 3, right? So that is the question for us. Now to simplify, we should write all the terms with the same base. So 9 could be written as 3 squared, so we can write this as 3 squared to the power of 1 over 4. Now 1 over 3 is 3 to the power of minus 1, so we get this as 3 to the power of minus 1 over this, and 27 can be written as 3 cubed. Now multiplying 2 over 4 is half, we get 3 to the power of half times 3 to the power of minus x by 2. And here 3 and 3 cancel, we get 3 to the power of 4. So the right side here is 3 to the power of 4. On the left side we have 3 to the power of half times 3 to the power of minus x by 2. When you combine these terms, we get 3 to the power of half minus x by 2. And that should be equal to 3 to the power of 4. Now that gives you an equation that is half minus x by 2 is equal to 4. Correct. Now we can solve this equation and find our solution. So multiplying by 2, we get, let's do it here. So we have half minus x by 2 equals to 4. Multiplying by 2, we get 1 minus x equals to 8, or 1 minus 8 equals to x. Minus 7 is the value of x, right? So we get x equals to minus 7. So that becomes the solution for the given equation. Now it's important to verify your solution also. So let's check. We have x equals to minus 7. Now to check what we can do, let us substitute. We know the right side. Right side of this is 27 cube root, and that is the power 4, right? So the right side basically is equal to 3 to the power of 3 to the power of 4 over 3, correct? Which we have seen is 3 to the power of 4. So that is the right side. Now let us check what the left side is. So the left side here is 9 to the power of 1 over 4 times 1 over 3 to the power of, now x is 7. So let's substitute minus 7. Let's substitute minus 7 here, right? Minus 7 over 2. Now minus will make this as a reciprocal. It's a good idea to write 9 as 3 square as we did, right? So we get this as 3 square over 4 times, this becomes 3 to the power of 7 over 2. Now that is half as we saw here. So we get this as 3 to the power of half plus 7 over 2, which is 3 to the power of 8 over 2, right? Which is same as 3 to the power of 4. So we get the left side also as equals to right side. So we see left side is equals to right side, and both are equals to 3 to the power of 4. Correct? Which is 81 for you. So therefore, the answer is correct. So with this, we understand how to work with the exponents while dealing with exponential functions. So So there was few interesting questions. I hope you understand and like them, but it's a good variety to begin with. Now we'll take up some application and thinking questions in part 2 of our video. Thanks for your time and all the best.